You're checking out Wrestling with the Topics. Lee and Tammy Sanders here. Good to be back on the saddle once again doing this episode for you guys. It's been a good minute since we've dropped one of these episodes. If I'm not mistaken, it's been at least almost 2 months, give or take.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, you guys have been getting all the other shows. You just haven't been getting this show from us, and we apologize for that. It's honestly, I mean, there's really no excuse. There really is no excuse. Tammy will tell you that every single time there's a weekend, I say, hey, we got to sit down. We got to record. And normally she goes, yeah, I'm down. And then for whatever respected reason, not that she's trying to run out of it or anything like that, or I'm trying to back out of it, but somehow we end up not doing it. So I'll give you the most latest example. So over the weekend, or leading into this past weekend, I said to Tams, yo, we got to sit down. We got to record an episode. You down? Yeah, I'm down. So the only thing she needed to do was get her booster shot. And so I'm thinking, okay, we'll probably knock this out Saturday early morning, Saturday afternoon. I actually went to bed a little early Saturday night going into Sunday. So for the sole purpose, getting up, sitting down, recording the show. Sunday comes. Now keep in mind, past few times that she's gotten her shot, she's been feeling a little bit groggy. She's been to a point that she's going, okay, you know what? Let me just take it easy. I don't really want to do anything. And so Sunday comes, I wake up, she's nowhere to be found. I'm thinking, well, maybe she's in the basement doing some laundry, or maybe she's outside washing the car or something, wiping it down. She couldn't have gone that far because she just got her shot the other day and she's already complaining about feeling a little groggy and all that. Nowhere to be found on the grounds or outside. I'm going, okay. Then I find out she's with her mom and they are at this nice sandwich place that they like going to. It's a hike. It's not we'll be there in about 45 minutes. It's not one of those type of deals. We're talking, you all are driving what, at least 90 minutes to this place?
No, actually, well, if traffic is good, it's about 45. If it's not, which sometimes on the weekend, it's a little more. Mm-hmm. But it was about 45 to 90 minutes. It was closer to 45. Now, coming back, it was probably an hour and a half because there was a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. But to clarify, for those of you who have gotten your booster shots or, after your 1 and 2 COVID shots, the funny thing is, the day I got it, not really, anything different. Really didn't feel any different. Things were good, did a couple things around the house and so on and so forth. The next morning, got up. Everything seemed okay. No big deal. Okay, a little groggy. Kind of could have stayed in bed a couple extra minutes, But other than that, no big deal. So I said, yeah, okay, why don't we go out and get that? No problem. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Yeah, okay, fine. So we get there and we order and the whole shebang. And as I'm eating, I'm like, feeling like I'm running a little bit of a temperature. Okay, maybe it's just the weather because it was hot and it was quite warm out where we were. So I was like, okay. So, continued to enjoy my little outing and so on and so forth. Even went into a really nice ice cream place right after that. And then, and then it was like, yeah, feeling kind of crappy. Yep. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing is, so we get home, which, like I said, was a bit of a hike because of the traffic. Once we got back.
And when she's saying we, folks, she's talking about herself and her mom, FYI.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I probably should have made myself a little more clear. And, just came back in. I'm like, yep, I'm going in and I'm going straight to bed. And I did. And folks, in the Sanders household, nobody goes to bed that early. I was actually out by 6 p.m. And that is, there must be something wrong if I'm in bed that early. And that's pretty much how it happened. Felt really crappy for, the next 6 hours. Headache, chills, fever, the whole thing that they tell you what to expect. Pretty much that's what I had. And the funny thing is the first and second shot, okay, you feel a little funny. But, no major symptoms, kind of, it lasted for a little bit and, headache still lingering next day. But other than that, not too bad. So, that was that weekend. And and it was like, okay, well, I'll get back in time. And the funny thing is, guys, I was like, okay, in going there, I'm like, okay, well, we go now, get back in time. Lee and I can do Wrestling with the Topics. 6 o'clock. Hey, that's shucks, 2 hours at least. So I thought, okay, cool. Yeah, my body had other plans.
Yeah, so honestly, apologies. That's the whole, I wasn't trying to go into that whole story, but to the point, 2 months is unacceptable. All right, especially when this particular series, it's really no longer a Patreon exclusive. This particular series, because I made the announcement right before the end of 2021 that this particular series was going to be available to everybody. If anything, we were going to have it be available for our Patreon members a couple of days early before it gets released publicly. That way you guys can get the raw, unedited version, whereas everybody else that gets it free, the free version for on demand and downloads, they're going to get it with commercials. And depending on the topics that's covered, maybe there's actually some we hold back on that you guys will hear in the original raw audio for being a Patreon member and all that. So we're trying in this new year. It's still early. We're getting close to the 6-month mark, but it's still early. The goal is to definitely get these episodes out to you guys on a more regular basis. We're hoping that out of an entire month, we can pretty much shoot for 3 episodes, bare minimum 3 episodes. Because really, this should be a once a week kind of episode for exclusively for Patreon, and then just doing it on a weekly basis, one show on a weekly basis. We should be able to give it to you guys every single week, but minimum 3, max 4, right? So we appreciate you guys' patience, but a lot of good that's been going on over here. We, in case you guys are not aware of the announcement yet, we actually have gotten a green light to come on back to the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., as we are going to be returning to Awesome Con at the Washington Convention Center coming up on June. It's the first week in June. I don't know the exact date just yet. If you can bear with me a second, I actually have a correspondence I did with Julian Cannon of Wrestling Court, because he's actually going to be part of our panel that we're doing this year. And yeah, Awesome Con is going to be happening on, here we go. I'm looking at it right now. It's going to be happening on June the, hang on, I'm looking at it. Yep, I'm looking at it. It's going to be happening on June the 5th through the 8th, I believe it is. Let me look at the calendar here. I'm not talking about our panel. I'm talking about just Awesome Con in general. Yeah, Awesome Con is going to be happening. Bear with me here. I'm looking at the calendar on the computer here. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's going to be happening on June the 2nd through June 5th. Is that correct? Yeah, June the 2nd through the 5th. And it looks like our panel. Yeah, see, you're throwing me off. I've already gone to May, and it looks like June 2nd is on a Thursday.
And Awesome Con starts on a Thursday?
Awesome Con usually starts on a Thursday.
I thought it always started from Friday to Sunday.
Either way. Please don't be technical right now, man. When you do that, you mess the whole flow of the show up. The whole point. Only thing you guys need to know right now. Okay? Me, Julian Cannon of Wrestling Court, Tams, who's also she's going to double dip. She's going to be helping us with the panel, and she's also going to be making sure that as far as our recording setup, taking some photo shots and all that, she's going to have all that nice and peachy. We're trying to see if Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, if you guys recall, he actually was supposed to participate in last year's panel, but due to personal, whatever you want to call it, he had prior engagement. Let's be honest, he had a prior engagement. He wasn't able to make it. So I'm hoping, I did put the bug in his ear about this panel. I'm hoping that this go round, he'll be able to have some time and he'll be able to do this. But if not, then you're still going to have a pretty good panel coming up. And for those of you that are a little bit curious when exactly the panel is, originally they had gave us Friday, June 3rd, and it was in the evening. But I had got an email promptly back from the program coordinator, and she informed me that there was a scheduling conflict. So everything is still the same except for the time. We actually are coming on much earlier that day. Our panel is going to go from 6:30 in the evening until 7:15. So we're running about 45 minutes. Now, some of you guys may recall when we did the first panel from last year, that panel ran about 90 minutes, and how I wish we could have had all the people that were supposed to be there, but under the circumstances, we did pretty good. I know a lot of people had reached out. Those of you that, you actually watched the panel and all that, because we only made it available on our YouTube channel. You guys had reached out. You let me know how much you had enjoyed it and everything. But I mean, that 90-minute, that was a stretch. That was a stretch because here's where it's so challenging, because when you've prepared a show like that, that's relying on X amount of people, you're going, okay, I really don't have to really structure this show like that. I can just mention a couple of bullet points and we can pretty much run with it, go with the flow, and then just boom, 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 boom. And then when you have people that unfortunately back out due to whatever is going on in their personal lives, then you have to go back to the drawing board. And I tell you, that was a difficult show last year as far as, okay, we got to make sure that there is enough content and we're not just winging it. There's actually enough content where we're going back and forth and we can stretch out this 90-minute thingamajigga of a panel that we got, and somehow we managed to pull it off. This is a freaking home run. The fact that we're only getting 45 minutes, that is a breeze. That is a breeze. Do I wish it was a little bit longer? Honestly, if it was an hour, I would be fine, because you know how we could do it? we could pretty much do 40 minutes of the panel and then dedicate the last 20 minutes to questions. And then we're pretty much out of there. Or do a 35-minute panel and then maybe dedicate pretty much the second half of it to Q&A. But 45 minutes, I am totally okay with that. So, and on top of that, we're going to also be covering the event as part of members of the press media. So this is going to be, I'm looking at the badges behind us. I think this is going to be number 6, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it began for us, our coverage. We began covering AwesomeCon in 2017. So we had 2017, 2018, and then we had 2019. We didn't do 2020. We did 21. Now we're doing 20. So 5. Yeah, this is going to be our 5th. Technically, it's our 5th consecutive year. But if you want to be a dick because of what went down with COVID, you could kind of make an argument, leap year. But I mean, if we're being honest, consecutive. Every single time that we have let AwesomeCon know.
Yeah, because they didn't have it.
Right. But every single time we've let AwesomeCon know we're interested in covering the event, they've been very gracious to us every single time. So this is going to be our 5th consecutive year covering the event, our 5th consecutive time covering AwesomeCon. And it's always awesome covering an event. It's always badass seeing people wearing their cool ass fucking costumes. I can't wait to talk to particularly some of the Walking Dead people. I'm hoping, we didn't really get that many. Last year was really interesting because last year, and we got to remember, we were still navigating the waters of COVID, and there really weren't that many people dressed up last year because we were there. We were there for the panel. And then, because we were there Friday and Saturday. We didn't do Sunday. We were there Friday and Saturday, and there weren't that many people dressed up. It wasn't packed like that. It was not packed like that. So I'm very curious to see, now that we've gotten to a point where, okay, thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans have gotten their shots. Almost every single American has gotten at least one booster, right? It's going to be, they've either got both shots or they got both shots and a booster. But every American now at this point, according to the data, has at least gotten one shot. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this go round with AwesomeCon. I'm very excited. Matter of fact, I just heard from Julian earlier tonight, and I was asking him, I said, by chance, have you heard from Mish yet? I got to hit Mish up and find out if he's definitely down or not with doing the panel. And Julian told me, look, hey, now I haven't heard from him, but regardless, I'm in. I'm all in on the panel. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm in on the panel. If Julian says he's in, he's in. Look, not for nothing, but Julian has been covering AwesomeCon much longer than us. So if Julian says he's coming to AwesomeCon, Julian's coming to AwesomeCon, right? Because through his work, through the company that he works for, he's always covering AwesomeCon anyway. So, and we're going to see how this goes, but we're already looking ahead to the New York Comic Con that's going to be happening in October. And Julian is saying, I think I might want to do a panel over there too. So we're going to see how this goes and pretty much go from there. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to it. I can tell you guys this right now. That panel is going to be 10 times better. Believe it or not, when I say this, that panel is going to be 10 times better than what we did last year. You know why? Because of all the classes that I've been taking this second rodeo and pursuing my associate's degree in broadcast media, one class in particular has been helping me tremendously, and that is anybody that has a major in broadcast media. You know exactly the class I'm getting ready to mention, Essential Communications, the communications course. That thing has been a lifesaver because it has done a phenomenal job in helping me find more not only my voice, but how important it is to have that rapport with your audience, how important it is to have that energy in your voice, right down to the point where, there's some things that I can picture in my head as clear as yesterday when it came to that panel. And for instance, I remember, how are all you lovely, beautiful people doing? No. Now that I learned what I learned in my communications course, it would be, how are you beautiful people doing today? How y'all feeling? Y'all good? Right? The projection, the energy, right? It's one thing if I'm among my friends, family, colleagues, and I'm talking in a normal kind of voice. But if I am a presenter, how are y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Right? So it's little things like that I've learned through this course, because this course, every Monday, like clockwork, we have oral presentations, and we're being graded on a lot of things. We're being graded on our use of grammar. We're being graded on our use of pronunciation. We're being graded on, are we reading or are we actually really engaging? Are we really looking into the camera as if we're speaking directly to our audience, as if they were right in our freaking face? We're also being graded for our attire. I remember one student did not like the fact that I did my presentation with a sweater, with my Soundgarden sweater. He goes, Lee, great presentation and everything, but ditch the sweater next time. You get a couple of points taken off. Don't chance it. It just made you really come off a little tacky, especially given the gravity of what you were talking about. And in this case, I believe the oral presentation I was giving was on, I believe it was on human trafficking. I was given it. Yeah. And so, here I am in my Soundgarden joint and I'm talking about human trafficking. And he actually had a damn good point. So I've learned so many new things. It's amazing what can happen in a year. I've learned so many things, not just for the panel, but going into all the shows that I do. So it's been a really good, I really love the professor that I've had for this communications course. She is a sweetheart. She knows her shit. And I hope that I've got to take a couple of more communications classes. I've got to take at least 2 more now that I'm pretty much done with this one. I'll officially be done with this one, if not next week, the week after, as we're working on our final project right now. It's a group project, and that's going to be loads of fun. But yeah, if you're following me on social media, guys, you can get a little sample of just some of the stuff I've been writing up on. And probably at a later date, I'll actually make the work be available on the site so you guys can read it in its entirety. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to, now that I've picked up some tricks, I'm looking forward to busting it out on the panel and see what happens, right? I'm looking forward to it.
The funny thing is, well, it's not funny. It's a good way funny, I guess it collaborates. I guess it's a better word. You're not even in June yet. You may be in another class that'll teach you something else, that can help you with the panel or make it a better presentation or a better experience for you and everyone in the audience.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that you learn from that particular course, especially if you're interested in being some type of a reporter or having a career in the television, radio industry, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. It's just badass. It's just badass learning what I've been able to learn so far and pretty much apply it to what I do on an everyday basis. It's helped me essentially across every single spectrum, even when I'm doing business with people. It's made me definitely more aware right, of how I'm interacting with folks. What exactly is the message I'm trying to get across, but most importantly, and what style am I trying to get that message across and everything. So learning a lot. So looking forward to that. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I just can't help but kind of say, let's go there. Let's tackle this, right? It might be an uncomfortable topic for some people, but I've talked about this off and on the show the past several weeks now, but it's nice to have you here so we can go in depth about this, not be too long-winded, but really setting you up for the past and you running with it. So I'm sure you've by now heard a little something about what's been going on with WWE Hall of Famer Tammy Sytch, Sonny.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to recap for those who, maybe missed it or whatever, but basically late March out in Florida, she was involved in an automobile accident. And her vehicle had crashed. It was a 3-vehicle accident, including her vehicle. It was a 3-car accident.
Mm-mm.
And the one car that she hit, there was behind the wheel a 75-year-old man who ultimately lost his life because of that automobile accident. The other person, right? So the old man was basically in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And he hit somebody else.
Right. So the person that he hit, minor injuries, they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Tammy Sytch, and I still can't believe this, but right, she was able to get out of the hospital, just to go back to, right? And even after, okay, oh wow, he's dead, right? She's just do. So the family, as they should, they hit her ass with a lawsuit. I think it's not really official right now, but the number that I keep hearing that's floating around, and if the number is true, that is bullshit. They need to put another 0 behind that. Supposedly they're asking for $30,000.
Damn. That's actually generous.
That's very generous if that's correct. They need to put an extra 0 there. Okay? Mm-hmm. Let's really fucking go there. Put an extra 0 there. Okay? So I reported on the show this week that over the weekend, a fan had reached out to Sytch and they had said something along the lines to her of, yo, what the hell was going on with you that weekend where you were driving like a freaking maniac? Was a house on fire? Were you maybe trying to get some drugs? What the hell was going on with you? And keep in mind, she has been silent on social media in regards to this accident. Now, keep in mind, somebody lost their life. Did you think at any time she was going to put some type of a statement out there and say, hey, y'all, by now, I'm sure you guys are aware, I was involved in an automobile accident. It resulted in the lost life of an individual. And all I can do is just apologize profusely to the family. I apologize to you, my fans, my colleagues, my family, my friends, anybody who I've let down. I apologize, right? Did you think at any time after the accident we were going to see her put some type of a message out there? No. And my challenge to anybody that listens to this, if she did put out some type of a video statement or some type of a press release, let me know about it, because I've yet to see or hear anything. And for the most part, all the good reputable websites have been on top of this and nothing has come to fruition. So of all the people to respond to, she responds to some Joe Flo guy.
Wow.
Some average Joe guy with, right? Maybe if you're lucky, maybe he's got like 250 followers, right? He ain't got no blue check mark or anything like that. She replies to him going, Well, let's see. No, actually, I was going about 10 miles per hour and I actually had a seizure. So, and you know, I believe he had a heart attack anyway. And so wait a minute. So we are not even going with the whole self accountability. We're not going with the, oh, hey, you're responsible for your actions the minute that you walk out the door, just as I'm responsible for my actions the minute that I walk out of the door in my place, right? Her exact reply, about 10 miles per hour, since I was slowing down to a light. But he had a heart attack. Nothing to do with my seizure. This had a few people jump out there and say, well, wait a minute. If she's having seizures like that, why the fuck is she behind the wheel? She shouldn't even be driving. You know, a person having seizures, they shouldn't even be driving. Now, I corrected people on Monday, but I said, whoa, no. It's like, if you have seizures, epilepsy, that's okay. Because believe it or not, in the United States, there's about 700,000 licensed drivers that have epilepsy. And if you have it, you know, basically all the states, they allow for people with epilepsy to drive. Each state has its own regulations and it varies. You basically just got to visit the website of your local DMV to find out, you know, what all the requirements are and everything. But in some states, they actually require for different people to report. So some, they'll say to you, hey, you got to have your doctor contact the DMV. Others may need to have the person with epilepsy sign some type of a special form, some type of a application and all that. If you're a person that, you know, you have your license, but, you know, maybe a couple of years after that, you know, something weird happens and you get diagnosed with epilepsy, that's a case where you have to communicate that to the DMV as soon as humanly possible so that your file can be updated and all that. But to my point, people with epilepsy, they do drive behind the vehicle. My whole thing is, no, how about this? How about, no, she had no business being behind the wheel of the vehicle in the first place, because even though this wasn't PA where she's mainly gotten her DUIs and arrests and all of that, even though this was down in Florida, she did not have a Florida's driver's license. So she had no business being behind a vehicle. She had no business operating a vehicle. You know, the last time that she had tried to pull a stunt and say, oh, seizure, sometime around 2016 or 2017, she tried to claim seizure. Ultimately, she dropped that and just manned up and, okay, so it's not, right? So you're going, which one is it, right? You say seizure, right? But then, okay, so this is what she fails to realize. There are a bunch of witnesses that have already confirmed, no. You were driving at a alarming rate. You were driving rather fast. I would imagine the victims involved, they've got pictures of the damaged vehicles. I would imagine police, when they arrived at the scene, they've got pictures of the damaged vehicle.
Not only that, a report from everybody on the scene.
A report, right? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, okay? You're a more experienced driver than me. If she was in fact going 10 miles an hour and she was getting ready to slow down or coming to a light and she actually was driving at 10 miles an hour when she hit this guy, is 10 miles an hour enough to kill somebody?
Hell no.
That's what I figured. I figured 10 miles an hour would be pretty much... So you wouldn't get whiplash. You wouldn't go, what the fuck? But you would definitely...
You probably would go, what the fuck? Kind of like, okay, like, you know you've been hit. Maybe a little...
10 miles an hour, is that enough? Is that enough to make your body... Jerk, if somebody's hitting you from behind, is that enough to... At 10 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if you're not expecting it.
Okay.
Not at the same... rate that it would at 50 to 60 miles an hour, or even 40 to 50. But yes, it would be kind of like, okay, what the fuck just happened? And damn, I know somebody just hit me. Because I have had those type of taps in reference to, you know, doing something and all of a sudden somebody thinks they are, you know, letting off or whatever have you. And, you know, boom. It's like, oh, shit. So, yes. But no, nothing to that. Well, hey, that would have caused a heart attack or nothing like that. Nothing. You know, no. That's the biggest bunch of hogwash I've ever heard in my entire life.
I was just shaking my head going, and we've got people that, you know, I feel so sorry for her. I feel like, no, how about you feel fucking sorry for the person that lost their life? How about you feel sorry for the victims of that family that had to bury their loved one? How about you feel sorry for
that apparently was doing halfway decent because he was behind the wheel at 75.
Exactly.
So here's my thing. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what Lee was saying.
Let me hold that thought. One more thing I want to add so you have the full. She's yet to issue a statement, right? Yet to no account of nothing. No, hey, y'all, no, nothing. Nothing. And you know, a couple of days after everything was all said and done, she's back on her social media, acting like nothing ever happened. Hey, subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
I remember there was one post she had. I gave the messiest blowjob and got such a great load on my face. Subscribe to my OnlyFans now to see it. Now, look, you know she's trying to get that legal money ready, but to see that and not see any type of, hey, y'all know by now I was in an accident. Nothing. I couldn't help but look at that message, that message exchange that she had with that fan. And, right, I'm no lawyer, but, yo, shut the fuck up. Because everything that you're doing right now, you're damaging your character. But go ahead.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So, all right. So I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Lee is saying. First of all, in reference to the people who have epilepsy. Yes, Lee's right. You actually have to let the DMV know. You also have to sign some type of form, which is what he was alluding to, saying that your epilepsy is under control. Whether it be through medication, whatever have you, it's under control. I have seen people who don't have their epilepsy under control and they actually revoke the license. So there's that. Okay. Number one. Number two, I get where her lawyer probably told her to shut the fuck up.
No, I'm saying if I was her lawyer.
No. What I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying. And to that point, I'm somewhat agreeing with you. And 9 times out of 10, her lawyer probably did say, don't say anything, especially on social media.
Okay.
So why the hell she decided to respond to Joe Blow in a private message?
No, this was publicly.
Okay, publicly message?
On Twitter, yep.
So why she decided all of a sudden to respond to him? No idea, besides possibly trying to get the sympathy card, make herself look better. That's the only thing I can see. Okay, there's a couple problems I have with the story. The first problem I have is you were going 10 miles an hour. Okay, so that's all right. I mean, it sticks with the story, but then you drop it in the same portion of that. So you either did or didn't have a seizure. You know, who knows? And secondly, he was probably going to have a heart attack anyway because he's old. I mean, that's basically what you're trying to say. So it's really not my fault because, you know, he was probably going to die anyway. That's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. You know, a family had to bury their loved one because of your own stupidity. And the fact, I'm sorry, but your character name, Sonny, that makes you a total asshole. Because you're taking no accountability for what you did. You are trying to blame someone else for your own actions that were in poor choice. And basically going back to old ways that got you in fucking trouble in the first place. So basically, not only that, you fucking haven't learned your lesson from the first couple of times you did it. So all of that compiled really means that you really should get your shit together.
Yeah. This is a person that has been, I counted almost 20. The sweet number I'm hearing right now is 17 arrests in the past, like 15 years, basically, like 17 arrests. I believe.
So she's freaking arrested a little more than once a year.
Right. I believe 8 DUIs.
The fact that she still has a fucking license is a
No,
miracle.
she doesn't. She doesn't.
Oh, so that's what you were saying in reference
Right.
to.
Right. So imagine if you're the prosecution.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to bring all of that up. Mm-hmm. The defense is going to say, hey, this isn't inadmissible because we're only talking about what happened in Florida. How does this? No, you're showing a pattern. You're establishing a pattern. Yeah.
Defense may try that because they're drawing at straws.
Yeah.
I would really hate to be her defensive lawyer.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
How do you fucking defend that besides saying that she's got a medical issue?
Yeah. And then you have to prove that she doesn't.
It's actually a medical issue.
Yeah. But then even at that, even if she has a medical issue, you don't have a Florida license.
Right.
So you know, so no matter how you cut this,
no matter how you cut this, it's going to probably end badly for her.
Yeah. But
to try to defend that, you must be some kind of creative to even come up with. You've got, hey, I don't have a license. I'm basically, okay, so I'm driving without a license. I'm driving drunk. I basically killed somebody because my actions and me behind the wheel caused the death of someone else and fucked up somebody else's car. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a license. Mm-hmm. So I shouldn't have fucking been driving anyway.
Right.
And now I'm pretty much doing the same shit that I did in the beginning to get me to not having a license.
Right.
So as you stated, yes, it's establishing a pattern of poor choices.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a feeling, sorry, she's going to do jail time for this.
Yeah, but sadly, I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be people that's thinking it's going to be 30 years.
I don't think it'll be that much.
No, I think she's going
5
to
to
get
10.
Yeah, good behavior. She'll probably be out 3 to 4, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And that's not
sad.
Really. Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, the civil case and what the other family's asking for, I really hope they get paid. Because truly, when people, I'm not saying this would change her, but people tend to wake up a little more when they have a substantial hit in the pocket about things that they're doing. And really, I think they should get paid for taking the life of that loved one from them. Really.
Yeah.
And with you being the cause of it, oh yes, absolutely.
That's one of those stories to be continued, but that
it's happened, but it's still developing because of the fact that there's a court date and the whole process.
Yeah.
So
whatever they're able to get, I hope the maximum is applied. I think the longer that she stays in there, whatever the longest maximum amount of time they can give her, I hope that they're able to do it. And honestly, no chance of parole. Let her fucking do that shit straight 5 out.
5 to 10 that she's supposed to.
Let her do it straight out.
Yeah.
Straight fucking out.
Right? That would be a good start.
So did you hear about Elon Musk buying Twitter?
I did.
What do you think
this morning.
What do you think about that?
Well, if I'm being really honest, I know the man owns Tesla.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
See, that's the beautiful thing about this show. We don't really know what we're going to be getting into. We don't know what each other are thinking. So whatever comes to mind on this show, that's typically how it works. Now, I may have a little bit of an idea on what I might want to talk about, but Tammy doesn't know anything. It's not a case where, because I know with some shows.
Very funny.
Hang on. I know with some shows, well, you probably cheated a little bit because you saw me type in.
No, I'm being facetious.
Oh, okay. All right. So my train of thought before I lose it. So I know some shows, the co-hosts, they send each other an email. Here's what's going to be covered, right? Right. You got that. We don't do, this is as loose as it's going to get, no matter, whatever comes to mind. What Tammy just said is almost what a majority of people will say about Elon Musk. Or they'll say, who? Only the hardcore. Okay, you know all types of news and information. You make it be your business. Only the hardcore is going to know about Elon Musk. Okay? I bring up that name because, see, you're not on Twitter, but it's been hilarious watching everybody have a fucking cow because Elon Musk is now the new owner of Twitter, and everybody is thinking that he's gonna be, he's gonna just, with the good old boys, everybody's thinking that he's gonna allow KKK and he's gonna reinstate Trump and right. I mean, they've just got him. I mean, you'd almost swear Elon Musk is gonna say pretty soon on Twitter, no minorities allowed on Twitter. That's the way that a lot of people are acting. And as soon as the news was first revealed, what was it, yesterday, that he bought, what was it, $44 billion? So he almost paid $50 billion to get Twitter. And what's so funny, this is a self-prophecy, because I say that because you go back to 2017 and somebody tweeted him. This is how it started. Elon Musk put out a tweet. He says, "I love Twitter." And somebody says to him, "You should buy it then." And he comes right back, "Well, how much is it?" So 2017, right? Seeds were planted and here we are now and everything. You've got people left and you got people left and right that are going, "Oh, fuck, I'm getting off of Twitter because if he's now the new owner, fuck this. It's not going to be fun anymore. It's going to be," right? Everybody is just piling on. Everybody is just saying, "Fuck this." You have Michael Caine, who rarely used Twitter. I mean, this dude was probably posting once a year. This dude puts out a joint, "Hello, you beautiful people," and then he follows up like 10 minutes later, "Goodbye, you lovely people," right? All right. So he's pretty much, okay, Elon Musk, yeah, no, right? So everybody is just, and the cool thing to do is just pile on Elon Musk. I put out a tweet when the news went down. This tweet has been out now for over 24 hours. See, here's the thing that I notice when it comes to social media. Whenever you're speaking the truth, whenever you are making too much fucking common sense, oh, that's not sexy. That's not going to get likes and retweets and a quoted tweet. No, because you're making too much fucking sense, right? No, you got to be piling on. You got to be in with the in crowd and you got to be shitting. That's how you get the likes and the retweets.
Is the fire starter of the day.
This is what I said. To all the people that's been complaining on Twitter today about Elon Musk, majority of people don't even know who this man is and just keep piling on to be cool. Yo, keep doing you. Whatever works for you, personally or professionally, and growing your brand. My advice, and I showed a little image of Stephen Colbert drinking a cup of tea, and it's got the caption, "Sit back and watch." And that's my whole message. It's like, look, like you don't even know what this man
is going to or isn't going
right.
to.
I mean, we haven't even hit 3 months yet. We haven't even hit 6 months yet.
24 hours.
Right.
But that's our society now. Is any major change that they aren't, they don't feel is whatever, or there's a, hey, this feeds off of this. And and then it's a whole firestorm of bull. You really don't know. You can. It's only speculation of what is and isn't going to happen. You are talking about not some small mom and pop company that nobody is fucking going to miss if something happens, right? You're talking about Twitter that's been around for quite a little bit of time now and is just as popular, if not even more so, than Facebook. So it's not like it's not going to go unnoticed. So you kind of have a little bit more of accountability in reference to what you can and can't do. Of course, you own the company, but then it comes to, oh, well, am I going to get buried for this, or do I even really care?
Let me read to you in part and everybody else, get you all caught up to speed. Here's an interesting article by MSN News. Looks like this is by, I'm trying to give credit where credit is due here. I don't see, MSNBC News. Come on. Here it is. Marina Koren of MSNBC News. Here's in part what I want to. Some Twitter workers have also expressed concern that Musk could inflict damage to the company's culture and make it harder for people to do their jobs, the Post reported. Musk is a visionary, but he's a terrible boss. He has reportedly berated employees and even fired them on the spot. Black employees at Tesla have described brutal instances of racial harassment at Tesla. In February, California filed a lawsuit against Tesla on behalf of more than 4,000 current and former black workers. Last year, several female former SpaceX employees described the sexual harassment they had witnessed or experienced at the company, saying that management failed to protect accusers and penalize perpetrators. On top of all this, Musk has retaliated against employees who publicly speak out against his companies. Musk and his companies have denied any wrongdoing in the past. Accordingly, Twitter employees should expect him to have little patience with criticism or complaints, however justified. So, as you kind of were able to tell, this is somewhat of an opinion piece, but at the same time, it's a persuasive editorial piece that Marina here is presenting you as she's giving you some interesting facts here. Now, something else Something else here. She says he's interested in his ideas, not your complaints. Some Twitter employees reacted with shock and dismay at Musk's takeover, according to the Washington Post, worrying that Musk would attempt to break down safeguards to protect everyday users that staff had built over many years. And he had given at least one sign that he would not step in between vulnerable users and aggressive, dangerous behavior. Last month, Musk said that following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, some governments, not Ukraine, had asked SpaceX to configure its Starlink internet satellites to block Russia news sources. Musk said, "We will not do so unless at gunpoint." Among several possible scenarios for Musk-owned Twitter, the most likely outcome, as Charlie Warzel writes in his newsletter at The Atlantic, is that Twitter will return to an earlier state, 2016, when the platform prioritized free speech, maximalism, and underinvested in tools for users to protect themselves, producing an environment with minimal moderation and more rampant harassment and hate. So the users who stand to have a worse time on Twitter under Musk are the same people who have had bad experiences there already. Women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ community, and other minority groups who have benefited most from the specific tools that Twitter has put in place in an attempt to deflect abuse. Let's see. I'll read to you guys just two more interesting notes here, and then we'll make sense out of all of this. Musk has a reputation for setting unrealistic deadlines. In fall of 2019, for example, Musk said that his Starship rocket would reach orbit in less than 6 months. SpaceX has not even made its first attempt yet, and likely won't until later this year when, as is often the case with experimental rockets, the first one will probably explode. The space community refers to Musk's ambitious approach to timelines as Elon Standard Time. Building spaceships takes much longer than reprogramming one function of a website, but don't expect your user experience to change within days of a tweeted decree. On some occasions, Musk will declare that his companies are going to do something, apparently without warning the managers at those companies, sending employees scrambling to reach a deadline they've already missed. In 2020, when Musk tweeted the Juneteenth is henceforth considered a holiday at Tesla and SpaceX, some Tesla employees were already at work. And when Musk's clarification that employees would need to use their vacation days to mark Juneteenth, a celebration of the emancipation of enslaved people in America, prompted significant backlash, SpaceX sent an email to staff reversing course, saying that the day would indeed be an official paid company holiday starting the following year. So take Musk's promise with a grain of salt until you see the results. So one last thing. Last night, Jack Dorsey, the founder and former CEO of Twitter, tweeted that he believes Musk will put Twitter on the right path, saying, "I trust his mission to extend the light of consciousness." Where have we heard that before? From Musk, of course, who uses the line often when he talks about sending people to Mars and making our species multiplanetarian. These goals, he says, are necessary to preserve earthly life. Already, we're doing the same with Twitter, elevating what happens on the platform to a concern of civilization importance and even civilization good. Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, Musk said in a press release yesterday. So let's just pause right there. And I mean, great piece. You know, again, it's a bit of a persuasive article that Marina has written, and she's backing it up with some facts. But to that, I just can't help but, you know, I know you're not big on Twitter, but I can't help but say, okay, well, you know what? to everybody that uses Twitter, if you are a athlete, if you're an actor, if you're a singer, if you're a vlogger, if you are a podcaster, you're looking at this news, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, how does this affect me and my brand? It's business as usual. It is business as usual right now. Just keep doing what you've been doing, trying to get yourself out there, your brand, your name, your product. Keep making it be all about you. For the average Joe that's not in any of those fields, it's just an average Joe that's just getting on there. They're trying to share content with their friends and family, post funny shit. They're all about sharing the content. To that I say, business as usual. Now, if some of Elon Musk's bad business practices you've heard about over the years, and it's gotten you to a point where you're saying, yeah, you know what, just some of the shit I've heard about this guy, I stay clear of him, I stay clear of anything connected to him, and I'm going to keep the tradition going, and I'm not going to have anything to do with Twitter. Okay, I can respect that. But at least we got a motherfucker that's saying, hey, yo, this is the reason why. Not just, oh, he bought this, okay, bye. And that's what I've been seeing the past 24 hours, right? That's the majority. I've rarely seen somebody, yo, this is what, right? I'm personally aware of some of this stuff. Some of this stuff, it is disturbing. It is disturbing to hear. But at the end of the day, I just can't help but go, okay, you know what? Until it affects me directly as a Twitter user and what I'm trying to do with spreading brand awareness for myself and everything, then it's right. It's still early. Let's wait and see what freaking happens here.
I don't really think people have a choice at this point. Well, I mean, they do have a choice, but it's either, there's only really a couple choices. Okay, first choice, number one, stay off of Twitter. Second choice, okay, be on Twitter and wait it out. So really, it's kind of, there you go. I will tell you, I don't really know a whole lot about him. And as Lee said, that is a persuasive piece. In reference to, I don't know, I haven't done my research, let's say that. But from what I'm hearing, interesting. But again, like Lee said, kind of have to just wait and see.
Yeah, really do. Really do. I mean, it's just interesting. It really, really is. I mean, we're going to let all of this, I just don't understand some people. You're going to let one individual fuck up your whole social media game because they're now the owner. All those followers, that's the thing. Like, all you guys I'd kill to have the social media following that a Mick Foley has, because Mick Foley jumped out there and was like, okay, I'm going to be leaving Twitter in the next couple of days. And it's like, okay, really? Right? There are people who I respect, and I just can't help but go, man, you just don't realize how much influence you have. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you are a social media influencer. And to just, okay, I'm taking my ball, I'm going home. Okay. It's like, if you're gonna go that fucking route, at least fucking do it in a series of tweets and go, this is why I'm making my exit and why you should consider making your exit as well. Okay. But then even at that, it's like, wow, you're really gonna walk away from this platform that has helped you essentially connect more with your fan base. If you would have told me 10 years ago, Lee, you'll get a like and a retweet and a couple of replies from Ice-T, Dylan McDermott, Christopher Maloney, fucking HBK, Shawn Michaels, Tay Diggs, right? I mean, I could just, Cress Williams, I'd be like, wow, all that because of some social media app? Mm-hmm. And I'm able to connect with these people I grew up on, and they're liking some of the shit that I have to say. Mm-hmm. Better Call Saul, the official page itself, liked some of my tweets from the other night. I'm going, right? You're willing to walk away from that type of discovery, and the beautiful part and connecting with total strangers, but the one thing that connects you all is that thing that you guys have in common. Better Call Saul. Everybody's live tweeting during Better Call Saul. Somebody says something that picks up traction, and right, or everybody's watching Walking Dead or FBI Most Wanted, or right. The beautiful way that these social media apps work, and they're able to connect us, right, with people we normally wouldn't even,
sure,
right? You're going to walk away from that.
So,
I don't know. Teach its own, but I just think that's crazy.
So, my first thing is, you would think, now grant you he is obviously the new owner, but you would think that some of Twitter's policies and procedures they have put in place for at least for the foreseeable future would prevent some of this. In reference to this, oh my God, the world's ending. Oh, this is going to be so much different. And right? So, obviously, there's still a need out there for the connection. I mean, I'm not a real big Twitter person, but I know plenty of people who are. And they, just as Lee just described, are wanting that connection to their favorite this, that, the third. And it's, the overjoyed emotion that they get from connecting to someone they've admired, talked to, whatever. And that's why it thrives to this day. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to change that and change the dynamic of what makes people like it, want to use it, and so on and so forth, then yes, people are going to go ahead and leave.
But that's the thing. Nothing has been, as far as change or new rules, new policies, nothing has been implemented yet. So these people that are saying, okay, I'm going to leave because this guy has fucking, it's like, dude, you're really going to walk. No, I'm saying, dude, you're really going to walk away from all your followers, right? You know what kind of message that sends? Basically, when you don't get your way, rather than, right?
I have a flip side to that.
What? Go ahead.
People have their beliefs on other people and what they represent, how they represent themselves, so on and so forth. And if my values and beliefs don't align with yours, and it has come up time and time again for this, that, and the third in a negative light, people disassociate themselves with that.
Okay. I'm going to counter with this then. Where do we draw the line? Because let's just say, man, ever since I was 5 years old, I have been eating Doritos, Fritos, Tostitos. Oh my God, Cheetos. I love them. Now, some of these chips I just named, they might not be under the Frito-Lay umbrella. I hope that most of the chips I named are under the Frito-Lay umbrella. Okay. Now, let's just say that whoever owns Frito-Lay, they got a fucking bomb ass deal from fuckface Donald Trump.
I really, really love your chips. What you guys make totally great snacks. Really, really great snacks. Love them. Love them. I love them so much. I know I'm gonna buy the company. Here's a check. Tell me how much. I'm gonna take you out of business right now. Frito-Lay's is gonna go into a new era. The Trump era. Trump chips. They're that good.
Right? So Trump is now Trump is in control of Frito-Lay because Frito-Lay had whoever's involved, they sold it to Donald Trump. Okay, so knowing what I know about this man, some stuff I kind of saw where he was going, but most of the shit, it just got my blood pressure going, and it was this motherfucker got to go. Okay, so am I now supposed to look at Frito-Lay as a company now that Trump has taken over and go, oh, fuck, it's the end of the world. Fuck, snacks as I know it will never be the same because this orange orangutan is now behind the fucking company. He's gonna fuck our snacks up. Lord only knows what he's gonna do to the employees. Oh, well, see you later, guys. I know the press release isn't even 30 minutes old, but now that Trump owns Frito-Lay, bye. I'm gonna go eat, I don't know, skinny popcorn now, or Orton Redenbacher, or Dollar Tree, or some generic Utz. You're right. I'm gonna go eat that shit instead, right? Where does it end?
That really depends on the person. Okay, perfect scenario. Actually, it's not even a scenario. This was literal fact. So, right around the time of re-election, or maybe 6 months to a year prior to, there were posts on Facebook of places that supported, guess who? Donald Trump. Right? Okay. Can I tell you the plethora of comments that was, oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not supporting that company either. Nope, not going there. Nope. And on the flip side, you had, hey, okay, so you had three sections. Hell no. Doesn't really matter whether they do or don't because I enjoy the product. 2, yeah, absolutely, I love Donald Trump. No difference to Twitter. None. Because it then becomes a moral choice for the person because of their feelings on who they think that person is and what they think that they're going to do. Whether it's true or not, it's just what they perceive and the perception of it.
On a wrestling related note, I'm reminded of when WWE had made the news that they were going to become a public traded company. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember some people in my inner circle, they felt that it was going to be the end of WWE. They felt that Vince McMahon was off his rockers. Mm-hmm. They felt, and he was still a young man at that point, mm-hmm. Somewhat seasoned older man, but still young. Mm-hmm. And people felt that, no, this makes no sense. Why is he doing this? He's selling out. It's not going to go down the way he thinks it's going to go down. And then all these years later, look at what...
It's thriving.
Right. Mm-hmm. All as a result of becoming a publicly traded company. So I just remember when the news had initially broke out and people were saying what they were saying, I just sat back and I said, well, what could possibly go wrong from becoming a publicly traded company? Like, if anything, you're able to accomplish a lot more. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I mean, We're talking about publicly trade. We're talking about opening it up. We're talking about investors, right? We're talking about bringing in investors to look at this portfolio. Yo, don't you want to get in on this? Some of my friends were even able at the time to get in a little bit of stock. They were able to buy a little bit of WWE stock at the time. So I can't help but remember back then, and I just remember going, same with Twitter right now. I'm going, well, wait and see what happens.
But again, it's still perception and either the feeling on the person or not being able to see the whole picture and giving your opinion on what you do see.
But that's a lot to put on the individual of one person, because in the process of all of that, you got to think about, you know, Joe Flo on Twitter that's in charge of, you know, whatever department, right? And you got to think about Suzanne in Twitter who's in charge of, right? I'm more concerned about what does the takeover from Musk mean for them, and will they be able to continue to do the job that they've been doing thus far, or are they going to be out of a new job, or I'm sorry, or are they going to be out of their job that they've had for so long? You know, whatever forthcoming new changes, is it going to be for the better? The Sues, the Joes, are they going to be down with these changes, or is there going to be a mad turnover rate? Are we going to hear people that's going to, yeah, I was there, let me tell you, right? I'm more concerned about all of these people behind the scenes than one individual. Perfect example. I was watching the NBA playoffs, and several days ago, like past 2 consecutive games, there's been these ridiculous animal cruelty nut job protesters. One girl had took Gorilla Glue or some shit on her hand, and she fucking ran to the fucking court and blam, just put her hand on the fucking floor. I don't know how they got her ass off of that joint, but somehow it was a minute, but they did get her ass up out of there. And then the next game, oh man, security was on point, man. Security was on point. He was looking at that bitch the whole time. This one woman, I think what was the giveaway for her was the fact that she had this fake me out referee uniform on. She called herself trying to run onto the court, and I think she was trying to latch on to a basketball player. I think she was trying to tackle a basketball player, but the security detail, he fucking, I mean, as soon as she was up out of that seat, you could go back and look at the video. He was on her ass. He was watching her the entire time. He tackled the shit out of her. It was good. I just like, look. So here she goes trying to get in there, and then wham, he just hits her just like that, right? I mean, it was one of those John Madden type of calls. And it turns out this, you know, they're tripping over the fact that the Mavericks, I think the Mavericks owner, they're tripping over the fact that some company that he's attached to, something is going on with the chickens. They're claiming animal cruelty in regards to the chickens. And okay, so you can't think of trying to get a meeting with this guy and, yo, you need to take steps to better, right? You know, we're going to just go on ahead and we're going to disrupt a basketball game that a shit ton of people there in attendance have paid to see.
For a protest.
For a fucking protest. And what was so funny, when the dumb bitch got tackled, here goes her friend, especially when they were getting ready to kick her ass out and everything. She's going, but I paid for my ticket. Like, that's true. But bitch, that doesn't give you the right to fucking run on there, you know, PETA, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
I've heard that excuse before, and it doesn't matter what you did, because if your conduct says one thing, you out.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. Seriously, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I ain't never seen. I'm trying to make sure that's what it was. That it was Dallas Mavericks. I don't think it was. I don't think it was the Mavericks. I'm trying to. Let me just type in real quick for you guys because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. I'll just type in NBA protester real quick, and I know it'll pop up. I don't think it was Dallas Mavericks. Yep, I called it. Timberwolves. Yeah, because Mark Cuban, he's more of a. You know, he's more of I'm on the blue collar guy side, right? Right. He's one of those type of guys. Yeah, this had happened during the Timberwolves game. See, so there's the girl that had glued herself to the Target Center court there. It was the Timberwolves going up against the Clippers on April 12th. And then after that, there was another joint where the joint I told you about where homegirl had got tackled and everything. So yeah, what they're saying is they're protesting the methods used to cull millions of chickens during an avian flu outbreak at Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor's egg farm.
Oh, because he's the owner.
Yeah. So again, I'm thinking about all the other people. I'm thinking about the basketball players. I'm thinking about the fans that mean well, that paid for their tickets. I'm thinking about the janitors, the security detail. I'm thinking about all of these individuals. You know what? That's fucked up. Like whatever's going on with that owner. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of power to give to an individual where I'm going to stop watching this team. I'm going to stop supporting this team. I'm going to because of this motherfucker.
Right.
I mean, look, I hate Washington Redskins. You know, if the game is on, I'll watch. But, and I mainly hate them because they've sucked for years.
True.
I can't stand the owner because the owner, in my eyes, has always been a piece of shit. And all the new stuff that just continues to pile up.
Confirmed that he's a piece of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't like the team because they've been shit for so many years. I wish the people well that work for that organization, but I can't stand that team. I'm happy that people are able to get a paycheck.
Right.
Right. It's weird how some people operate. I understand what you're saying, but it's just weird how some people, my whole thing is, if you're going to leave, why make an announcement?
I guess
because it screams, look at me.
Yes. Well, half of all of that screams, look at me.
It screams, acknowledge me.
You know, comments, whatever have you. And it's almost like they want that acknowledgement because yes, he came in and I left because that was my choice and that was my values and my morals and all of that. But so in reference to that, yes, but I wanted to touch on you just in reference to what you were saying as far as the Redskins, or the Commanders, whatever they are now.
Washington.
The Washington football team.
That team.
In reference to Snyder. So I have lived in the area for majority of my adult life. Actually, even longer than that. But I remember what the Redskins were before Daniel Snyder. I remember when Jack Kent Cooke owned the Redskins. And let me tell you something. They were a damn good team. It was fun to watch them. And I think that's part of the reason that you have the loyal fans that you have now because of the generational thing that either kids, the people that were kids then are getting their kids into it, or you have the people that, you know, are older than our current, you know, ages that basically got us into it. And so remembering what that was and hoping, and this is actually my perspective, and hoping that each year that we come together as a new season that it's better than the last fucked up year that we had. And every fucking year that Daniel Snyder has been in that damn office, it's been more of the same bullshit.
And new controversies.
And new controversies to boot. You know, and then they'll get good players. Like, okay, Brad Johnson. Let's just throw one name out there and I'm finished with my soapbox. Brad Johnson was a fucking hell of a quarterback. We had him. He didn't want to stay. He didn't want to work for Daniel Snyder. Guess what? He went to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay went on to win at least one Super Bowl, if not two, under Brad Johnson. And there you go. All right. So it's kind of like you have one kind of failed marriage. And, okay, damn, that sucks. 2 failed marriages. Damn. Okay, well, fine. At 3, you should start to think maybe part of that is me.
Now link that back to...
Linking back to, we've had a hell of a lot of good players that have went on to play for other teams and had so much success.
Now link that back to Elon Musk and Twitter. Where were you going?
Linking it back to...
Because we didn't officially put a ribbon on that one.
Yeah, I was sort of going in a diversion a little bit with that. Yeah. But I guess in the way you link it back and loop it back to, you could make the argument that the speed of the leader is the speed of the team is... No. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. So if you have a bad boss and all these complaints and controversies and bullshit that you have, okay, then that sucks. And then you have a whole workforce, or at least part of a workforce, that doesn't want to work for you and could go work for someone else and do a hell of a job. But, you know, it's really too early to tell. Mm-hmm. But we all can agree on one thing. Tesla is the hottest ticket on the market right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make a bold prediction. I will make a bold prediction. Look for a spike as a result of this news. Look for a spike in signups for Instagram, Facebook. Not so much TikTok. I don't see, because that's for teens. That's for teens. Yeah,
that's a whole nother form.
Yeah. Maybe YouTube in third place. But I'm mainly homing in on Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to predict, look for, as a result of this news, look for a spike in more people signing up for that. Give that about, I'm going to say, what is this still the beginning of the second quarter?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll know how this quarter is looking when we get to July?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Beginning of July.
Okay, so around July, I'm curious, there should be some report that'll be put out there that should touch upon what was going on with social media consumption, signups, and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes from Pew Research or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm very curious. And I'm going to be paying very close attention to it. But if a lot people are that rattled, you know, if it's as big as people are making it out to be, then I'm predicting look for a spike in signups on those platforms.
Yep.
And
a decrease from Twitter.
And a decrease. Yeah, and a decrease from Twitter. Now, would I be willing to go as far? Now, Tammy's saying decrease in Twitter. Just to make it interesting, you're going with a decrease in Twitter. I'm going with an increase in Facebook and Instagram.
No, actually, what I was saying.
No, I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Okay.
But I'm just nice little wager. We don't have to actually bet anything. But just let's just for shits and giggles. What are you thinking? Twitter increase or decrease with Elon Musk?
Decrease.
You're going for a decrease. I am going to say increase.
Okay.
Not going to be a drastic increase. I'll jump out there. I'll say an increase of 13 to 20% in the next 3 months. What are you going with?
5 to 15% of a decrease.
5 to 10 decrease?
Yeah, 5 to 10%.
5 to 10% decrease. And I'm going with a 30 to 20% increase over the course of the next 3 months. I'm just writing this down. Okay. And we'll see what happens. To be continued. So other than that, that perfect. Right at the 90-minute mark. That's the thing. When we're doing these shows now, we're going to try to make them be a lot more, not time restraint, but we don't want it to be all long-winded, right? Get out while it's good. That way you guys can just, because we know you guys like to make your rounds checking out other shows and all that. And not to mention, it puts you in a good position where you can definitely show some love and check out the other shows that we put out for you guys. Don't forget you got new episodes of RCWR Show and all that good jazz. Shout out to our Patreon members. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR Show. Check out bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. You can get at us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords. That is if you still have those platforms. Given the news.
That's funny.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. She's the beautiful and the lovely Tammy Lee Sanders here. We thank you guys for checking out this edition of Wrestling with the Topics. We'll be back with another one for you guys next week. Until then, be safe and be kind to one another. Peace, y'all.
Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.